Hello, everyone. Good day to all of you. Thanks for joining us for Programmers Week 2021. For those of you who may not know me, I am Sumanta Mitra, and I am a Senior Business Analyst and Scrum Master at Cognizant Softvision, where I am the Scrum Master and Technical Business Analyst for the Telstra account. And I have been here around for a year and a month. I'm really excited to talk about the evolution of Agile and encourage everyone to share your questions in the chat module so I can answer them accordingly. Without further anticipation, let's get started. So the agenda which we'll go through this session would be: how did Agile start? How was the evolution of Agile? What are the principles of Agile? The Agile Manifesto, Agile Values, what is Scrum? We'll talk in detail about Scrum, the Scrum framework, the Scrum process, the rules of Scrum, what are the different sprint ceremonies in a Agile. Then we'll talk about in detail about how to imbibe Agile, not just in our technical discussions or in technical project management, but also in our day-to-day life as well. And what is scaled Agile? What are the expected benefits of scaled Agile? That's a new term, right? So what is the Spotify model? Again, a new term. What is safe? What is Spotify? So these are some jargons I will use around here. Then another jargon which I'll use is lean. How do we find lean and agile? Then how do we ensure agile maturity? That will be the last step. As in, how do we mature in agile and ensure that we are in a constant improvement cycle in agile? Without much ado, we will go on to the first topic. How did it all start? Although the term agile software development was originally coined in 2001 with the creation of the Agile Manifesto by 14 great influencers and great thinkers, agile techniques first came into practice in the 1990s with techniques such as extreme programming, Scrum, and DSDM. Over the course of 20 plus years since then, agile has evolved in both size and scale and volume across different domains. And even it has led to most recent developments like Kanban and an increasing number of frameworks for large-scale multi-team agile, which we'll study in the course of time. We developed agile. The people who developed agile was definitely the main reason for it was to challenge the status quo of waterfall. So waterfall was ruling the charts for all IT developments till then. So agile approaches began to be utilized as an alternative approach to the status quo of project management. So project management status quo was like, I will sign a contract, I will wait for my team to deliver as per fixed price and fixed resources, and then we will take customer feedback, and then these contracts used to run over a year or year and a half, and then at the end of it you find that the customer wants something else. So there was a disconnect between what our developers, what our team was developing, and what the customer actually wanted, as well as the market needs were very dynamic. They used to change in the course of time. So waterfall was failing to an extent. So some people took their time out and found out a way in which rather than having a delayed delivery and a big bang delivery, we'll have a iterative delivery. So rather than rigid end-to-end project planning and delivery of waterfall, the contemporary approach which it offers and facilitates the opportunity of continuous change and adaptation, continuous change, adaptation, and continuous feedback from our stakeholders. That will leave us with something to work on and develop a continuously changing, evolving, excellent product very close to what the customer wants. I would rather say exactly what the customer wants, right? So it places the customer firmly at the center of concern and focuses heavily on team collaboration in order to increase customer satisfaction, quality, productivity, and staff engagement, whilst also reducing on costs and lead time. So you don't have to engage a specific number of resources all the time. You can have shuffling of resources as and when your cycle needs them, as and when there is work. We will work always up to the demand and not as per the capacity. So that is the way Agile started. Evolution of Agile. So the major root of Agile is that it grew also outside of the tech industry. So the roots and origin of Agile principles and practices lie firmly within the area of software development, and it has been still largely are synonymous with the technology sector. So yes, it has been adopted in various other domains, but primarily it is adopted in our technology or IT sector. However, since its initial inception, Agile has progressively become more widely recognized and employed in tech, with a far more diverse range of industries and business functions now utilizing Agile techniques. The wider use of Agile in less traditional sectors has grown significantly in later years or in recent years, with business uses in admin, healthcare, HR, marketing being among the front runners for usage of Agile apart from the tech industry. The growth can predominantly be attributed to the significant exposure that Agile continues to enjoy as a success and impact that it yields. Many very large and well-known companies such as Spotify, ING, Sky, those have made significant changes, and they have also evolved the agile approaches and given us different models to work on. The development of scaling agile. So there is something called agile and there is something called as scaling agile. Scaling agile is nothing but agile on a larger scale, on a wider scale. As the complex nature and size of agile initiatives have grown over the years, so too has the need for frameworks that enable agile to be applied at a much larger scale. So if I apply agile on my team, how do I apply agile on the enterprise level? So that whatever benefits I'm enjoying at the team level, that can also be multiplied, or it can also be hypothecated on a larger scale, and the benefits will be much larger for the organization as a whole. While Scrum and Kanban are typically utilized at the single team level or perhaps by a small number of teams, large-scale Agile was specifically developed to be implemented at the multi-team or enterprise level, enabling tens and even hundreds of Agile teams based across multiple locations to work collaboratively in a cohesive and productive manner. We'll move on to the next slide, which is the principles of Agile. So the key principles of Agile methodology, what we can see as per the diagram which shows here. So this, you can see this is the primary representation of Agile, which shows that, yes, I have to work in an iterative cycle, continuously moving forward. And I will have, in this iterative cycle, I will have a daily stand-up call with my team, which is shown by this, which is continuously moving in every 24 hours. Yeah. So active user involvement is unavoidable. You will need to have continuous feedback from the customers. You have to grow with the growth. You have to have a self-organizing ecosystem or a self-organizing team. You have to have face-to-face conversations, which are very important. It will need continuous change. It is dynamic. So does your software. Working software is measure of success. So you always measure success as per what is working, what not what you have delivered. So what is working is primarily your core of measuring success. Simplicity is vital. It has to be a simple solution, and software is delivered regularly at regular intervals or sprints. Then there are 12 specific principles which came out of the discussion between those 14 amazing, fantastic influencers. So there is the first principle which says early delivery of the product. So you won't wait as in waterfall for 12 months or 18 months to deliver the product. You will deliver it much earlier in cycles called as sprints. Adapt to change. So adapting to change in scope, in requirement, in priority. You have to be always continuously adaptable. Frequent delivery, as in every iteration and every 2 or 3 weeks to deliver something, which is also called as a minimum viable product or a MVP. Business and developers cooperate. So business and developers collaboration and cooperation and communication, which was absent in waterfall, is the core essence of Agile. Motivated individuals. So individuals are motivated and focused to work towards a single sprint goal and deliver products with continuous customer feedback. Face-to-face interaction rather than over emails or over lengthy calls. You have face-to-face customer workshops, which are very useful in understanding the entire requirement at one go, and the entire team is also present. So there are two changes: face-to-face interaction along with the presence of the entire team across all domains, be it testing, be it development, be it delivery. Everybody is present to be on the same page. Working software. So you have to always have a working software, as we discussed in the last slide. Maintain a constant pace. So there should be a constant pace, or what we call as a rhythm. So there should be a rhythm of delivery, which you maintain across sprints. Technical brilliance, which is supported by uh, arguably a bug-free delivery, which is a simple solution. That is what says the 10th principle, which is simplicity. Teams, self-organization, self-organizing teams. So you don't have to tell everyone or micromanage teams. They are self-organizing. They know what their role is, and they keep on working at a maturity level. Regular reflection and adjustment. So you not just reflect, you adjust so that that reflection and its output becomes some change in your delivery pattern. Now, what is Agile software development cycle? You meet, so you collaborate. Collaboration is a key thing. You plan. During this meeting, you plan what to do, how to take requirements, how to understand requirements, how to deliver, how to design, how to develop, how to test, how to evaluate what you have tested, what you are going to deliver, how you evaluate against certain things called acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria are set by the customer and the business analyst to understand whether your deliverable, your minimum viable product is meeting actually all the customer requirements. It's a tick box, it's a checkbox or a checklist. The next you go is the Agile Manifesto, which was developed and written in the same meeting. So you will always have interactions and individuals and interaction over processes and tools. Yeah, you will always value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So the items to the left are always valued more than the items to the right, even though the items to the right have their own importance. Working software over comprehensive documentation. So working software is more important rather than having comprehensive and lengthy documentation. Customer collaboration, collaborating with customers, collaborating with your stakeholders is more important than contract negotiation rather than going over numbers. So customer collaboration in terms of the requirements, what the customer's pain points are, what do they actually need, how can they deliver in a market. That is while there is value in the items on and responding to change. That also comes along with what you are delivering. So you're responding to change as well. So if there is a change in customer requirements, then you respond to change and change your delivery accordingly as per the scope, estimate, time, priority. So even though we say that the items to the left are more valuable, there are definitely important items to the right as well, and there is importance attached to them as well. Now we come to Agile Values. So what are Agile Values? So Scrum.org defined Agile Values as you can take it as FORCE, or FORC. So F stands for focus. So everyone will focus in the team on what work has to be done. That can be defined as a sprint goal. Yeah. Then O stands for openness. So the Scrum team and its stakeholders need to be open on all requirements, how they are delivered. Then doesn't need to be any sugarcoating done, or there's no need of any filtration done. It should be a lucid delivery. It should be a transparent delivery. So transparency or openness is required. Then you have respect between your team members. You respect your team members. You respect everybody's importance in the everybody is a cog in the wheel of success, in the wheel of your team, and everybody has a role to play in the development of your product. So that is where respect stands for. Then we have commitment. So commitment is when you always measure and then commit. You always take a step back, understand whether I will be able to deliver this as a team, and only then commit to the deliveries, not commit in a haste. Then the last but not the least value, agile value, is courage. So Scrum team members should have the courage. So if somebody feels that something is stuck somewhere, they have to they need to have a courage and stand up for it and highlight it to the entire team so that anybody else who is having the same problem can rectify that problem or take help of that same person. And it will help in the smooth running of the team as a whole. So courage is also very important. So we have focus, we have openness, we have respect, we have commitment, and we have courage, which form the agile values. Then what is Scrum? On the right side, you can see in the picture, the team is focused and collaborating for executing Scrum. So Scrum, as you see in the center, this is your something called as a sprint, which goes in a iterative cycle. So it keeps on repeating. So a sprint can be of a duration of 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or even up to a month as per the organization decides. And you can see it's like a machinery which runs, people deliver and people support and people uh, pull and push to deliver. There are certain items called burn down chart which are used to measure the team's productivity. There is something very important called a product backlog, and out of this product backlog is the list of all items to be developed over a period of time. And whatever items are selected out of this product backlog are called product backlog items, and they form the sprint backlog. So this sprint, I will deliver so many items. So this is called a sprint backlog. So I can't deliver everything at one time. As again, I go back to my statement saying, as Waterfall was doing, but I have to deliver certain items which are based on priority as per customers' needs, and this is called a sprint backlog. Then I have a daily stand-up call, which is this symbol, which is showing a daily call of 15 to 30 minutes, just asking for a status and any impediments. And it is run by an individual or a role called as Scrum Master. On top of Scrum Master, you will have the sponsor or the business or IT program owner who will give you all the stakeholders, all the requirements, everything which need to be delivered. This will be translated into user stories, epics, business features, business process architecture designs, which will be fed to the team via a person called as a product owner, who will be the owner of these requirements. So product owner and Scrum Master and the Scrum team, along with the business or IT program owner or the executive sponsor or the customer stakeholder, will work together hand in hand. Then we will have different sprint ceremonies, out of which you have a daily stand-up, you will have a sprint review, you will have a retrospective. So retrospective, as the English term suggests, it is something like, how do I measure my success vis-a-vis what I have done now, what could have been done better in this sprint, and what actions can I take to make this sprint a better sprint going forward. And then ultimately this sprint culminates into a release, a product release. What is the Scrum framework? So again, certain things have flowed over from the last slide, which are like inputs from executives, teams, stakeholders go to a product owner. Then he produces a ranked list. So this is very important. So the ranked is the keyword here, a ranked list of what is required, features and stories, which will form a product backlog. Then you will have a sprint planning meeting where team will select starting at top as much as it can commit to deliver by the end of the sprint. This is the Scrum team. Then again, you will have a sprint backlog, which will further break down into number of tasks. Then you'll have a sprint retrospective, sprint finished work, which is a release, a sprint review, daily Scrum meeting, burn down or burn up charts, a Scrum Master, 1 to a 4-week sprint, as I said, 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, or a 4-week sprint. Every 24 hours, you'll have a daily Scrum meeting. This is a Scrum framework. The Scrum process is also the same way. It's just iterating the same thing. So 24-hour Scrum. So 15-minute daily Scrum meeting, what it will describe, what I have done since the last Scrum meeting, what I plan to do before the next issues, before the next Scrum meeting, and issues that I have that I need help to resolve. Yeah. So this is what is discussed in the daily 15 to 30-minute Scrum meeting. Then we have rules of Scrum, which is simple rules. 3 roles. Yeah, you would have a product owner who is the voice of the customer, who sets vision, who sets priority, a Scrum Master, a leader who serves, servant leader, in other words, continuous improvement, developers, knowledge, capability, quality, and testers. These are the 3 roles. 3 roles, 5 events. So what are the events? You will have a sprint, which is a fixed duration container for events. You'll have a sprint backlog, which is decided in the sprint planning. You would have a replan every day on a daily basis, every 24 hours in a daily Scrum. You will have backlog refinement, get backlog ready. You'll have a sprint review, what we have done, or showcase to the customer. Has the minimum viable product been close to what customer is expecting, or he needs some changes, the last minute changes before deployment, before delivery, before release. Sprint velocity, feedback, and retrospective is the Kaizen method, which is continuous improvement. And then 3 artifacts. Artifacts would be a product backlog, product goal, vision, or priorities, sprint backlog, sprint goal, known work and capacity, and product increment. So definition of done, which is very important. So how do I define that my delivery has been completed? That will be defined in different attributes of definition of done. Sum of completed work, value. Without embracing the sum values and operating according to the 353, you are in doing actually Scrum. What is the importance of the sprint ceremonies? So we talked about sprint ceremonies. We have sprint planning takes place at the start of the sprint. You have a daily Scrum takes place every day during the sprint. You have a sprint review or a demo which takes place at the end of the sprint, and you have a sprint retro which takes place at the end of the sprint, but it is a retrospective. And then we have backlog refinement taking place within the sprint at different points in time. It takes place continuously. Yeah. So this is the importance of the different sprint ceremonies. So how to imbibe Agile and implement it? So Agile is a way of life. Agile is a way of working. It's not actually a project management methodology like a PMP or a PINS2. It just tells us how to focus on our work, how to deliver our work, how to follow the Agile principles, how to follow the Agile Manifesto, and develop a product in such a transparent, lucid, and simple way that you can just plug and play that product, that delivery, and your customer will be always happy. Continuous feedback, continuous interactions with the customer. So this is how we imbibe Agile in our daily life as well, to analyze, self-analyze, and in a continuous retrospective way, in a continuous improvement way, and keep on improving on our current status and keep on maturing. So that is how we imbibe Agile. What is scaled Agile? So scaled Agile, as you see, it's a very busy slide, I know, but then scaled Agile is also busy. So you have multiple teams collaborating together. So that is the basic difference between Scrum and a scaled Agile. So a scaled Agile would be multiple teams collaborating together and having a Scrum of Scrum. So you will have multiple Scrums, multiple Scrum Masters, multiple product owners, and then as you see, you would have something called a Agile release train. So there will be a continuous delivery pipeline, continuous exploration, continuous integration, continuous deployment. So you will put something on the release train, something like a PI or a product increment. So you're defining that by how much quantum your product is incrementing in every cycle or release cycle. So you create something like a PI pipeline, right? So PI pipeline is nothing but you are adding on products or product increments to be added on to the product delivery and delivering them as per a release stream. So release on demand. So you have a system, you have system thinking. So system thinking is one of the you can say principles of scaled agile, or SAFe. It's also called SAFe. So enabler, feature, story, system design, then continuous delivery, continuous improvement. And then you have here different roles on the enterprise level: epic owners, enterprise architect, solution engineer, solution architect, solution management, STE, business owners, system architect, engineers, product release train engineers, product managers, agile teams, product owners, scrum master. So agile teams are there functioning in this whole enterprise architecture. We have organizational agility, we have lean portfolio management, we have enterprise solution delivery, you have agile product delivery, which is the essence of it. And then you have team and technical agility and continuous learning culture. So everything of agile is there along with Kanban. So Kanban is a continuous improvement process. You will have lean thinking as well, which will have instead of a product backlog, you'll have a solution backlog in Kanban. Then you'll have a program backlog and then team backlogs. So solution, program, team. This is the hierarchy. Solution is at the highest level, then comes program, then comes team. Then you have Kanban, portfolio backlogs. Then you'll have guardrails or lean budgets. So as per the lean budgets or guardrails, your in between the guardrails, your solution train will run. The solution demo is there, capability, enabler, epic, coordination, development value streams, enabler. So this is how it works. And then you have core values, lean and agile mindset, safe principles, and implementation roadmap, and SPC or a safe program consultant. So this is how safe works. So in the interest of time, we'll move forward. So what are the expected benefits of scaled agile? So why do you want to implement scaled agile? Scaled agile will involve a lot much focus, a lot much time, a lot many resources on to a delivery. So why do you want to go to scaled agile? So it is studied and it is understood, and actually it was developed somewhere around 2011. So from then, in the last decade or so, it has been understood, it has been realized that there is a quantum leap of 20 to 50% increase in productivity, 50% plus increase in quality, measurable increases in employee engagement and job satisfaction, and 30 to 75% faster time to market. Time to market is your time to market should reduce. It should be faster, and your product should get delivered faster to the market, to your consumers. So that is what time to market is. So 30 to 75% faster time to market. So this is again a busy slide. I'm sorry about that. So this is also another model which got evolved after scaled agile or safe. And in the next year itself, in 2012, the Spotify engineering model came up. So Spotify model was a much simpler model. The safe model is a heavier model. The Spotify model is a much simpler adaptation of that. And a Spotify model, you will have squads or guilds. You will have more autonomy. So you can see more autonomy here with the leader leading the teams and guiding them. And you will have small and frequent releases. Yeah. So you won't have anything like a release scale or anything like that. You will have ongoing release. You will release often, and then you don't have a release schedule as such. You will release often. You'll have small teams with product owners and all teams combining together to work together. So this is how, and you would have a team which doesn't believe in having its own ego, its own team members having working in an individualistic manner, but always in a collaborative manner. So this is what it shows. So a self-service model which helps you to enable and serve, serve the customer in a better way. Release trains equal to feature. So you will have features listed like this instead of release trains. So this is how the difference is. And then you'll have communities in which you'll have a tribe, which is a bigger form of a Scrum team, in which you'll have a product owner, individual handling an entire team. And the Scrum Master is there beneath the product owner, working together with the product owner in collaboration. Then what is, safe versus Spotify? So what is the difference between safe and Spotify? Again, both are scaled agile models, but the Spotify model is much simpler model, is a much lighter model, you can say. It's not a heavy model like safe, but agile is implemented in a much scaled manner on an enterprise level in the safe model, whereas the on a smaller scale at the program level, you can implement the Spotify model. But the Spotify model has been very successfully implemented by various organizations, taking the example and taking leaf out of the book of Spotify, and it has turned out to be a success. So this is how Safe and Spotify can be compared. Then this concept of lean. So lean majorly says elimination of wastage. Yeah. So you will always have a WIP limit or a work in progress limit, which will be set for the team working in the sprint. So you will always have a limit. Say I have a limit of 5, a WIP limit of 5. So I would not take 5 items for development, more than 5 items of development at one point in time. So when my team is working on 5 items and I have a WIP limit of 5, it won't take the sixth item, right? But when that WIP limit becomes from 5 to 4, the items in the WIP becomes from 5 to 4, you will add the newer item and again it will become 5. So your WIP limit is maintained throughout the sprint. That is a new concept in lean, and which is also a concept in Kanban. So if you see among the principles or frameworks in Agile, which are like Crystals, Scrumban, AUP, DSDM, feature-driven development, extreme programming, Scrum, and Kanban. So Lean intersects with Agile in Kanban. So Kanban is common with Lean and Agile. Yeah, and you also have a continuous improvement measure, which is in Lean. So Lean is always there in Agile, and now uh, the matured organizations who have implemented Agile over a long period of time, say 10 years or 15 years, they are moving towards something which is a mix of all this. So you'll have Lean, you will have Agile, you will have Safe as well for scaling up the Agile. So they have a mix of all to create a cocktail which can be benefiting, which will be benefiting the customers in a much better way rather than an single and individual framework. Then again, finding lean in agile, how do we do in agile in lean? There's a concept of a double diamond design process. So what is a double diamond design process? These are the two diamonds which we're talking about. So we'll have a general problem statement from the customer. There'll be a research, user-centered, empathetic. So you will have design thinking principles, human-centered design. All this will come into lean. Yeah. Then you have insights, needs, values, and touch points from the customer. What are the customer pain points? Specific problems come into picture. Then ideation happens over those specific problems. Then you will have prototypes delivering or developing solutions on those specific problems, and then we deliver those specific solutions. And it's again an iterative process, as is the case with all the other processes we have seen till now in Agile. So we discover here, we define through insights, ideation, we develop, ideation leads on to delivery, and then we deliver specific solutions. And then lean mindset is aligned to a purpose. The organization, inside the organization, you'll have strategy, you'll have value-based portfolio management, you'll always act to learn. So action-based learning, not just learning for the sake of learning, adapt to change, set a course for change. So course correction is always there. And lean basically has a lack of context switching. So what is context switching? Context switching is nothing but if people work on too many things at a time, they have to switch context from one development item to another. So that leads to wastage of time. So to remove or reduce this wastage of time, what lean recommends is that there should be minimal context switching, and a person should work on one delivery item at a time, finish that. That is where that also leads us to understand the concept of WIP as well in lean. So work in progress. So your work in progress should be always monitored very effectively. So this is how we have lean in agile. So how do we ensure agile maturity? Agile maturity is nothing, guys, but that you will have to implement it and imbibe it in a way that it is in a continuous cycle. So it's like an assembly chain. You put something, it gets ideated, it gets worked upon by different individuals, which comprise the Scrum team. You show it to the customer. The customer says yes, everything is fine. Business analyst approves the acceptance criteria, and we move on, release the product, and we move on to the next sprint. Yeah, conduct a retro, take the action items, and move on to the next sprint. So nothing is open-ended. Always understand this. So agile maturity is achieved only when there is nothing open-ended. Everything is end-to-end. Everything has a opening and a closure. So all the items have to be worked upon like this. So this is how we agile. This is how we ensure that agile maturity is achieved, and we implement this cycle over a period of time continuously in a mature way through multiple sprints, taking learnings, considering capacity, considering team focus, focusing on FORCC, focus, openness, respect, commitment, and courage, the agile values, and will always be successful in agile. Thank you, guys. I'm open to questions.
Okay, we have one question, Sumanta, that is, thanks for info on benefits of SAFe. Is there any way to see the data sources? Could you share the deck perhaps?
Sure.
So I think this session is recorded, so I think we can see the recording. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's more of a statement asking for the deck. So yeah.
For the deck, is it okay? Okay, Anand, we can share the deck definitely. And Anand, I have on my screen sharing. There's a website which is there by Atlassian. So you can take it as a beginner's guide to SAFe. And then of course, SAFe is a much wider topic, guys. So you need to study a lot about SAFe. But then this will be definitely, this was very handy for me to understand SAFe. And then of course, there are certifications in SAFe which can be done, which improve your knowledge on SAFe. But it is basically multiple teams collaborating together. So this is one of the good knowledge sources. Yeah, and so that's
all right. There's one more question. What factor does the organization value the most in agile maturity model in your experience?
In my experience, there is not just one factor. It will be openness and courage, which are most valued, because openness is something which is relatable with everyone, and if everyone is open about the problems we face, so there's a very good saying in agile. So you have to fail fast. Yeah, so fail fast. So the faster you fail, the more quickly you recover and you understand the points of failure. So if you are open about the failures, it will definitely help us to understand and repair the system. So openness is one of the major factors, and courage is just above openness, complementing openness. So if you have courage, you can be open about your problems, open about getting solutions, and not feeling shy to collaborate with your team members and get the solutions from them. So openness and courage, I would feel, would be most valued by organizations among the agile values.
All right, so those are the questions. Thank you so much, Sumanta.
Thanks, Anand.